Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today, I'm going to be starting the work on Cindy's craft room. Okay, so first thing to do is to try to get this mess organized. I need this stuff over here or elsewhere, and I need anything that can go outside in the rain. I need that out of here. I need some room, and once I have that room, we have the sole plate and the top plate down there. Sole plate goes on first, and then the top plate goes on once both of the wall sections are in. Well, let me show you that real quick. The wall sections are split in half. The sole plate is going to go on the floor and then get bolted down, and then it has a double sole. So each of these two sections are tipped up and fastened this way, fastened together, and then fastened to that post over there. It's kind of behind the door. And once everything is all nice and plumb and stuff, then the top plate goes on and fastens that stuff together. There's actually a bunch more stuff that has to happen before that top plate goes on, but that's how this wall is constructed. Once this first wall is tipped up, I need to get the exact level of the top transferred over to that post over there, that back one, and then I have the height of the wall on that side. Because this concrete may not be even and that grade board may not be even, I need to get the exact height of the built wall over to there, and then I'll build that wall according to it. So it's going to be a fairly complicated build, but I'll walk you through it as we do it. This wall gets tipped up, and then this wall is ignored for a little while, and then I'll build half of that back wall, walk it through the opening, and stand that up, and then that wall right there where the window is, from the post over to the other post, that wall is a bunch of separate pieces. There's a big header over the top of the window to catch the floor joists, and yada yada yada. There's electrical wires, ton of stuff. But once that wall is done, then this last wall is going to be tipped up and fastened into place. And then I need to figure out something for this wall right here. This is going to be a difficult wall because of the framing for the door and stuff. Well, maybe it won't be that difficult. Okay, but regardless of all that stuff, this whole mess needs to be moved. And I started a little bit of this yesterday when I was cleaning in the shop. I was putting the lumber over in that back corner, and I think I'm going to continue to do that with a lot of this stuff because of the way this is going to be assembled. One wall, two walls, and then I can take that stuff out once I have a little more room out here. I guess I'm going to kind of figure it out as I go, so I need to get moving on this. Let's get started. Okay, that's a start. This is going on the tiny house within the week, so that'll get the heck out of the way. But now I need to get all of this stuff, except for the wood I just put there. I got to get all of that stuff either outside or packed into here. I'm going to put the insulation right in this opening for now. I can go back and get it. So I'm going to have to go get a ladder for that. Yeah, the insulation is these black bags right here and all of that stuff. The sprayer, that Fimco sprayer right there, that can go outside. I guess it's not going to be that bad. This TV, I think I'm going to have to put that in the shop so it doesn't get damaged. And then we have a hot tub. That is waterproof and can go outside. Same with the gas cans. I guess this isn't going to be that bad. Okay, the hardest part, I believe, is going to be getting all that insulation up there. It's not going to be hard, it's just going to be a putz. Let's get that done real quick, and then this other stuff shouldn't be that bad. Okay, all done. Got a little bit of vacuuming to do, but that can be done at any time. I need to move these 2x4s, just the back row right here, because now I need to get a measurement from this grate board right here to the far side of this post, and then I need to duplicate that dimension over on this side, and then we're going to snap a chalk line on the floor. I probably shouldn't have buried these plates right here. Yeah, they're pretty long, but I think I'll be able to get them up out of there, especially once I move them 2x4s. Let me get that done real quick and clean up a little bit of this stuff here. The cats did that. They thought they could get into the warm area right through the wall, and I messed this up a little bit. No biggie though. We'll fix that up, and I'll get right back with you. Okay, that was pretty easy. These are some really nice boards. Surprising how good a lumber you get when you get really long stuff like this. I mean, there's one knot on this whole thing. So this is the tie plate. This will tie both of the walls together. This is the sole plate. And then there's going to be a bottom and top plate on it as well, on the assembled wall. I could do it a couple different ways, but that's the way I'm going to do it. So maybe you can see this a little better now. That sole plate gets attached down to the floor. dead level with the line, or dead even with the line, and that comes to right here somewhere, right about where that post is over there. Then I'm going to take my really long Stabilo level, put it on top of the wall, and go over and make a mark on here, and that's where the top of the wall is going to be on this side. I don't want to just measure up from the floor because the floor is concrete and it could be very uneven. Same thing with these grade boards, but doing it this way, everything should be as close as it needs to be. Sounds a little complicated, but I'll go over all that stuff when we do it. I had Cindy come out here and help me snap the chalk line, and we got a dimension on that. I have to go enter that into the computer and finalize the drawings. So that's going to be it for today. We'll start back on this in the morning. It's already pushing 5:30, but I'm going to move actually 18 boards, 18 2x4s into the shop, and first thing in the morning I'm going to cut 14 of them into studs, and the top and bottom plate for that wall right there. And we'll get this. Oh, actually I need the dimensions for where to drill this, so I'll get all that done tonight, and then we'll get this drilled and fastened to the floor, and we'll get the first wall up. I had in my notes that I was going to do the blocking in this wall to attach this wall to, but it works out that the wall comes completely to the other side of this stud, so I can just go right into the stud, which is good news. I don't have to mess with the insulation or anything like that. I'll have to mess with it later, but that is what it is. Okay, I'll get back with you in the morning. Okay, it is nearly the end of day 2, and we got this first wall section up, and got a hummingbird caught in here. I'm going to try to get him out in a little while, but for now, what I got to do, this is what I was talking about with the level. It's on top of the wall, making sure that it's not on top of any of this garbage, and oh, that is really close to level. All I did was measure from the floor up to the top of here, and then did the same over there, and kind of eyeballed that clamp. Now what I got to do is go over there and just lightly tap that clamp and come back, and I think that is right where it needs to be. But anyways, once it's right where it needs to be, I could take the level off and then make a mark right on the top of the clamp, and then I can use that as my index, and I'll measure down to the top of the grade board, and that'll give me the height of this wall right here. And I gotta go and write down all of this stuff. The wall comes out to right here, and it stops right before this bolt, so I gotta notch the wall. The wall's gonna be connected to here. I gotta notch part of it, or the whole thing at the bottom, so that it sits flush on this wall. I'm gonna have to check and see how plumb this is. Not that it has to be super plumb, but it would be nice if it is. And then I got to figure out what I'm going to do on this side. I think the wall is just going to end right here at the far end of this grade board, and then I'll make shims that go between the wall and this post and screw it on that way. Okay. Now we are perfectly level. So let me get that little mark on there and then measure down to the grade board. And then I think that's going to be it for today. Okay, it's the next day, and that hummingbird did escape last night. We have storms all day, so I might have to set up some more lights out here. This is the last day I can work on this week, so I really want to get this wall in place. Okay, I made a drawing from my measurements last night. This wall is going to sit on top of the grade beam, and it's going to have a 1/2 inch clearance here and about a 1/2 inch, I believe, on that side. It should fit either way, and it has a California corner, which is this here. It has one stud on the flat here so that I can connect with the wall that's going here. I'm going to have to do that with this wall as well. It's not in the drawings yet, but I'll put it there. Okay, I got a list of stuff to cut, so let me go get that cut and we'll start assembling this. Okay, got wall number 2 in place, and it looks like I had just enough play in there to get it in. These post frame posts are not straight. They're like crooked all over the place. You could see all the gaps and stuff in them, big gaps up at the top. So trying to get a frame inside of these posts can be a little bit difficult, but it's in there. You'd see there's supposed to be a 1/2 inch gap, and we're fairly tight at the top, and we got about a 3/4 inch gap at the bottom. but that's going to be just fine. Okay, so I'm going to attach this flush with the grade board at the bottom, and once it's attached on this side, I'm going to put some shims and stuff in here. Once it's attached here, there's one more stud that goes in here, and then we'll cut the tie plate. That's going to fit tight between the posts. I left that out because I know the posts are going to be screwed up. So when that's in nice and tight, then we'll connect the top down to that. All right, let's get going on this. I finished up this video 2 days ago during that storm, but it was way too loud to film, so I'm going to wrap it up right now. We just got delivery of the rock wool for the tiny house, and unfortunately, I have to de-pallet this stuff and get it in here. Ooh, got a turkey, or not a turkey, a chicken, a rooster. Out! Out! Yesterday, we moved all of this OSB in here and the concrete and started to get this organized. We also put this 24-foot 2x12 up at an angle because it was blocking the way right here. It went way the heck back to here, so you had to really finagle your way around this. We're going to be cleaning this place out the rest of the way in a day or two, and we're going to be working in room 13 very shortly, but I thought I would show what happened yesterday. I could have finished this video up yesterday, but I had a ton to do, and I have a ton to do today as well. While it was raining and hailing like crazy like that, I was working on the top of this wall. I screwed this up when I put that level going across from there to here to get that dimension. I forgot that this wall still needs 1.5 inches on top of that. So this wall was 1.5 inches too short, so I put another board on the top of it. It's fine right now, but it is really beefy. But that doesn't matter. I was working on the ladder, screwing this stuff in, when that hail was hitting the ceiling, and I seen that hummingbird a little bit earlier. That's the part I caught on tape. You probably won't see him, but he was like in midair up in there. I was working here, and he came down and went right by me, and then circled that way, and then went back up. So I hurried up and opened the door. I only opened it about that high and got back to work. It was still raining out, but at the time, the hail stopped and it wasn't like blasting down. So I got the door open, went back up the ladder, and he came down like right by me again, and then went along the bottom of the door all the way to the far side, and then dipped and went out. So he made it. There's plenty of food and stuff right next door. They have hummingbird feeders over there. And as long as he got out and it wasn't like hailing, he's going to be fine. He'll find shelter just like they do normally. Okay, so we got that screw up. That's fixed. And then I got these spacks in here. Got one here. And then got this shimmed out and got one here. And, oh, you can't see them. We got this boxed out into a California corner, but there's screws going into here, and what else? Yeah, screws going into there, and then I have it pocket screwed into the beam at the top, or post at the top, and it's pocket screwed. Each board is pocket screwed into the post on both sides. So that wraps this one up. That wraps this video up as well. The next video, I'm going to try to get this wall done and maybe some of that wall. This wall right here is going to be the very last wall. This one is going to be kind of difficult because I have a 2x12, two 2x12s, but I'm going to have to install them separately. That will go from here across to here, and then it's going to have two jack studs holding it up and a king stud on the side of it. And where that goes down, I can't just have a plate like this. This plate is only supported by this 1.5 inches right here. It'll be fine on this wall, but that's a pretty good load to put on it on this wall. So I'm going to make a piece that goes from here all the way back to here that's wide enough to catch those, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So it's going to take a little bit of work on these. Also, I'm going to plane up some fillers, and I'll be filling just a couple places between the backside of this sole plate and the foam down here. Probably doesn't need it, but I'm going to be making it for this, so while I'm running the planer, I might as well make those as well. So next project is this wall here, and possibly a little bit on that one, and then right after that we'll be doing the wrap up of the walls, and then we'll start getting the floor joists in. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.